Have you ever noticed that when you lose weight, your face gets slimmer, your legs look better, even your arms change? But your belly, it just stays. And at some point, you start wondering, is something wrong with me? The truth is, belly fat is not stubborn by accident. It's stubborn by design. And today, I want to show you why your body protects belly fat more than any other area, what hormones have to do with it, and why understanding this changes everything about how you should approach fat loss, especially after 40 or 50. Let's start with one important truth. Fat loss is never even. Your body does not burn fat in a fair or symmetrical way. It burns fat based on survival priorities, hormones, and metabolic signals, not based on what looks best in the mirror. Belly fat, especially visceral fat around the organs, is closely connected to insulin, the main storage hormone in your body. When insulin levels are high, which happens frequently in people with insulin resistance, your body is essentially locked in fat storage mode. And the belly is one of the first places where that fat is stored and one of the last places where it's released. This is why many people experience a frustrating pattern. They lose weight in their face, chest, or legs, but the belly barely changes. That's not a lack of willpower. That's biology. Age also plays a huge role here. As we get older, especially after 40, insulin sensitivity naturally decreases. Muscle mass tends to decline, stress hormones like cortisol increase, and recovery becomes slower. All of this creates a metabolic environment where belly fat becomes a kind of emergency energy reserve that the body doesn't want to let go of easily. Another key factor is chronic stress. Elevated cortisol signals danger to the body. And when the body perceives danger, it holds on to fat, particularly around the abdomen, because that area is metabolically active and easily accessible for quick energy if survival is threatened. This is why even a perfect diet can fail if stress and sleep are ignored. Long-term metabolic health is the real game changer. If your insulin remains high most of the day, fat-burning pathways stay blocked. You can be in ketosis, you can eat clean, but if the hormonal signals are wrong, belly fat will not move. This is also why short-term challenges don't work. 30-day plans often create quick results elsewhere, but belly fat responds only to consistent, long-term metabolic signals. Low insulin, stable blood sugar, adequate protein, muscle stimulation, and recovery. So if your belly is the last place to change, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means your body is slowly relearning that it's safe to let go. And once that switch flips, the belly finally follows. Low-carb and ketogenic diets can be incredibly powerful tools for improving metabolic health and reducing body fat, but only when they're applied correctly. One of the biggest frustrations I see on this journey is people saying, "I'm low-carb, I'm in ketosis, but my belly fat is not going anywhere." And in most cases, the problem isn't carbohydrates anymore. The problem is how fat is being used. Let's start with carbohydrates. Reducing carbs lowers insulin, and that's essential. Insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store energy. When insulin stays high, fat stays locked in storage. This is why low-carb diets work so well at the beginning. Insulin drops, water weight leaves, inflammation improves, and fat loss starts. But here's the mistake. Many people stop thinking once carbs are low. On keto, fat becomes your main fuel source. That does not mean unlimited fat intake. This is where slogans like "eat fat to burn fat" cause confusion. Yes, fat is the primary fuel on keto, but your body will always burn the fat you eat first before it touches your stored body fat. If you start your day with bulletproof coffee, add heavy cream, butter, MCT oil, then snack on fat bombs or keto desserts, you are sending a very clear signal to your body. Plenty of external fuel available. No need to use stored fat. You may still be in ketosis. Your ketone levels may look perfect, but ketosis alone does not equal fat loss. It simply means you're burning fat, and that fat can come from your plate instead of your belly. This is why belly fat often stalls first. The body chooses the easiest energy source. Liquid fats, oils, and highly concentrated fats are extremely easy to burn. Stored belly fat? That requires low insulin, time, and the absence of constant incoming calories. Another common mistake is fear of hunger. People add fat just in case, to avoid discomfort. But mild hunger is not danger. It's often a sign that insulin is low and fat-burning pathways are opening. Constantly suppressing hunger with fat snacks keeps insulin from dropping low enough for deep fat loss. Protein is another overlooked piece. Too little protein leads to muscle loss, slower metabolism, and weaker insulin sensitivity. Keto is not a fat-only diet. It's a protein-first, fat-to-satiety approach. The goal is metabolic communication. You want your body to clearly understand carbs are low, insulin is low, protein needs are met, and external fat is not flooding the system. When that happens, the body finally notices its own fat stores, including stubborn belly fat. Keto works best when fat is not forced, carbs are restricted, protein is prioritized, and patience replaces extremes. Ketosis is the tool. Fat loss is the outcome, but only if you stop blocking it. If fat loss were only about calories, most people would already have a flat belly. But the body doesn't respond to math. It responds to signals. Hormones, nutrients, movement, and stress levels constantly tell your body whether it's safe to burn stored fat or whether it should hold on to it. The key to burning your own fat is learning how to send the right signals consistently. The first and most important signal is protein intake. Adequate protein tells your body that muscle tissue is protected. This matters because muscle is metabolically expensive. Your body will not give up fat if it fears losing muscle. When protein intake is too low, metabolism slows, insulin sensitivity worsens, and fat loss stalls. Prioritizing protein at each meal stabilizes blood sugar, reduces cravings, and creates a foundation for long-term fat burning. Next comes limiting added fats. This doesn't mean fearing fat. It means using it strategically. Fat should come naturally with whole foods like eggs, meat, fish, and dairy, not be poured on top in the form of oils, butter, or constant snacks. When added fats are reduced, insulin can stay low for longer periods, forcing the body to access stored fat for energy. This is one of the clearest signals you can send. Use what's already there. Movement is another powerful communicator, especially resistance training. Lifting weights or using bodyweight exercises sends a strong message to the body. Muscle is needed. This improves insulin sensitivity, increases glucose uptake by muscles, and raises resting metabolic rate. You don't need to train like a professional athlete. 2 to 4 sessions per week of simple resistance exercises are enough to shift hormonal balance toward fat loss. Next comes limiting added fats. This doesn't mean fearing fat. It means using it strategically. Fat should come naturally with whole foods like eggs, meat, fish, and dairy, not be poured on top in the form of oils, butter, or constant snacks. When added fats are reduced, insulin can stay low for longer periods, forcing the body to access stored fat for energy. This is one of the clearest signals you can send. Use what's already there. Movement is another powerful communicator, especially resistance training. Lifting weights or using bodyweight exercises sends a strong message to the body. Muscle is needed. This improves insulin sensitivity, increases glucose uptake by muscles, and raises resting metabolic rate. You don't need to train like a professional athlete. 2 to 4 sessions per week of simple resistance exercises are enough to shift hormonal balance toward fat loss. Then there's stress management, a factor many people underestimate. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and cortisol tells your body that survival matters more than aesthetics. Under stress, fat, especially belly fat, becomes protected. Poor sleep, constant mental pressure, and lack of recovery can completely block fat loss, even with perfect nutrition. Learning to slow down, sleep better, and recover is not weakness, it's metabolic strategy. Finally, there's time and consistency. Fat loss, especially from the belly, is not a quick process. The body needs repeated proof that conditions are safe. Insulin stays low, nutrients are adequate, movement is regular, and stress is under control. One good week doesn't change physiology. Months of consistent signaling do. When all these signals align, protein sufficiency, limited added fat, muscle stimulation, low stress, and patience, your body doesn't need to be forced to burn fat. It simply does what it was designed to do. If there is one tool that can dramatically accelerate fat loss, especially stubborn belly fat, it's fasting. Not as a punishment, not as an extreme challenge, but as a strategic way to lower insulin and unlock stored fat. When done correctly, fasting doesn't fight the body. It works with it. Let's start with intermittent fasting. Simply extending the time between meals allows insulin levels to fall. When insulin is low, fat storage shuts down and fat burning turns on. For many people, skipping breakfast or delaying the first meal of the day is enough to restart progress when weight loss stalls. Intermittent fasting is not about eating less. It's about giving your hormones space to work. For those who are already low-carb or keto-adapted, longer fasts, such as 24, 48, or even 72 hours, can be a powerful next step. These fasts significantly reduce insulin and increase fat oxidation. Think of them as a metabolic reset. When insulin drops deeply, fat stores finally open, including stubborn abdominal fat that doesn't respond to diet alone. This is why fasting often breaks plateaus that nothing else can. The body simply cannot hold on to fat when insulin stays low long enough. That said, fasting is a tool, not a requirement. It should be introduced gradually, supported by adequate protein intake between fasts, and adapted to your lifestyle and stress levels. Now let's talk about progress tracking, because many people quit too early due to misleading feedback. The most common mistake is relying on BMI. BMI does not distinguish between fat and muscle. If you are losing fat, gaining muscle, and improving metabolic health, BMI can stay the same, or even increase, while your body composition improves dramatically. Better markers tell a different story. Waist circumference, waist-to-height ratio, how clothes fit, and energy levels are far more accurate indicators of real progress. Blood markers like triglycerides, fasting glucose, HbA1c, and blood pressure often improve long before the scale moves. These changes mean your metabolism is healing, and fat loss will follow. Most importantly, achieving a flat belly requires a long-term strategy. Short challenges create short results. The body responds to what you do repeatedly, not occasionally. Low insulin, regular fasting, strength training, proper recovery. These are not temporary hacks. They are elements of a lifestyle. The moment you stop treating fat loss as a 30-day project and start seeing it as a lifelong metabolic upgrade, everything changes. Progress becomes calmer, setbacks become lessons, and results become sustainable. A flat belly is not the goal. Metabolic health is. The flat belly is simply a side effect.